you recently tweeted that you discovered that you have adult autism, and I wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that seems like a big self-discovery.
Yeah, it's definitely been a whirlwind of questions, tests, and it's definitely given me a lot of understanding about myself. That's for sure.
Like what? What's something that is it you just have more clarity? Do you feel like a lot? Does certain behaviors you have make more sense now? Like is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, there's just been a lot of things that I thought originally were because of my social anxiety disorder. So, I've always had selected mutism when it comes to conversations. So, for those that maybe are curious, basically there will be people talking to me, asking me questions, and I just won't respond to them. It's not that I've heard them completely. It's just that I make a conscious decision not to answer and to not to talk. And of course, I've always just thought, well, that's because of my social anxiety disorder. Then there's things like linguistic inconsistency. So there's a lot of times, and I've even done it on this podcast with you right now, and I'm trying to be so good with it, is I just interrupt people. Like I have no understanding of when to not talk and when to not interrupt. Additionally, I will basically just completely derail conversations and ask my own and insert my own thoughts and monologues. So that's something else. And sensory, there's certain textures as well as just, fabrics and certain like noises that I really just don't respond to well. And I've always I've just either have assumed that was because of, my anxiety and maybe my vision loss. But there's like things like not making eye contact. That's another big thing that people see with autism is, they just don't have a way to make eye contact. And when they do, they're like making a conscious effort to do so, like to make sure. But then it kind of comes off creepy. And of course, I've been thinking, oh, well, I don't make eye contact because, I can't see. So, for me is I don't really know. But, even long before I even found out I had a visual impairment, people would be talking to me and I'd just be looking over to the left or looking over to the right. And people were just sitting there just like, is this dude just being rude? Is this guy just being mean to me? And my parents actually recently, when I was like talking to them about this all and, saying like, I think I need to go get, some tests done. And of course, prior to getting some tests done, I was talking to a lot of experts and people in the community. I have a lot of friends that either they've had child autism, adult autism, or, it's no longer diagnosed because it's kind of gone away. But, we're at the time when it was still a diagnosis where maybe with like high functioning Asperger's, which again, I know is not a diagnosis that they're doing currently to this day and haven't been doing since I believe 2013, if I have my facts straight. But just talking to a lot of people and just seeing that there's a lot of things that are lining up with what they're describing to me. And, I'm telling all this to my parents and they're like, we've for the longest time wanted to get you tested because we suspected from a very young age that you had some sort of autism. So basically everyone in my family's kind of been like, yeah, I think he has autism, but they never did anything about it. So, I've just grown up my entire life thinking that maybe it's my vision or like a combination of my vision loss as well as my depression and anxiety. But the more I looked into it and the more I asked questions and the more that I did research and then, finally getting some tests done, it just really makes sense. And having that diagnosis, I now look back on like a lot of things that have happened in my life and I just feel like wow, like why did it take till I'm like basically almost 30, because I'll be 30 next year to like finally be like, maybe there's something more to this than, just vision loss and anxiety. Maybe these are things that are covering up something a little bit deeper and a little bit more severe and sensitive than I thought in the original. So yeah, finally finding that out and, being upfront with myself after getting the news and being like, that this is kind of who I've always been, so it doesn't really change anything about me. I'm just gonna do like I did with my vision loss, and I'll wear it on my sleeve, and I'll be proud about it. And it doesn't make me any different than it has, since I was born.
Yeah, that's a good mentality to have, and and the reason why I asked you is because I would imagine having social anxiety would people wouldn't automatically assume someone with social anxiety would be a podcaster.